Have you ever dreamed of being published in a newspaper or a magazine, appearing on TV, or being interviewed on a radio station? Getting exposure through the media is not as hard as it sounds. Let's find out how. Hi everyone, Eva from Travelling Entrepreneurs here. So this morning Sam and I were being interviewed by a New Zealand magazine about one of their stories that they've got coming out about digital nomads, and I thought that I would film this video because it seems that the knowledge, I guess, that I've acquired over the years about how to get media exposure is not quite so common. We get messages about people asking us how we got into the media, how to make sure that journalists are contacting you, and it's really not as hard as it sounds. Grant, I was assistant editor of Tearaway magazine, so I do understand how the whole publishing world works as well. So today I wanted to share a couple of ideas around how you can get more media exposure for your business, your project, or just yourself in general. So the first important thing to remember is that you need to have a story. Now the media has two things in it, and you have to remember that. One is stories and the second one is advertising. Now obviously advertising is the bloodline of publishing of any sort of media because it keeps them afloat, it keeps them paying their employees, but stories is what creates the media outlet so important. It's what the media outlet is paid to produce. And so you need to remember that when you are pitching your story to the media, to make sure that you don't lean over to the advertising side of it. So if you want to get published in the media, don't try and go there to advertise your business specifically. You need to have a story. So as an example, this morning when Sam and I were being interviewed, obviously we have businesses, obviously we have projects on the go, and these were mentioned during the interview. However, the story behind all of this was the idea of digital nomads and how people are working and traveling today. So that is the story that's going to get people reading this in the publication. Another story, for example, when I was writing my book, when I was getting it published in various media, the story was that I was a teenager who was giving advice to parents who had teenagers. So again, this is an interesting story. It will attract readers, and that's what the media really wants. So have a think about what story you can pitch to the media around your business or projects. Is it something around the backstory of how your business started? Is it something about your life that's interesting that people might want to read? Are there challenges that you overcame and you want to give advice to other people? So think about all of that because that is the first step and the most important part of it all. Now secondly, and this is the step that almost no one takes, which is a real shame because when I was working as a journalist, sometimes it does get quite hard finding really interesting stories to write about or to publish. So the second thing is to actually contact media. So if the media don't know who you are or your story, they'll never know how great it is. What you need to do is go onto Google or any other search engine and search for top media publications in your city, in your country, or worldwide, and have a look at the contact details. Usually there will be contact details of an editorial. You can find contacts of, for example, certain journalists. So usually there might be like a business journalist, so that if your story is to do with business, you can contact the business journalist by putting them onto your list and then sending an email to them later on. So the step here is go through and find the contacts of the people that you're going to contact. If there's a name attached to it, make sure that you grab that name as well. The second type of person that you should also search for through LinkedIn, Facebook, Google, and anywhere else is also freelance journalists. Freelance journalists are looking for stories all the time, and sometimes it does get hard doing research to try and find the next up-and-coming story. So if you are able to present a story to them, then they will be hopefully quite grateful for it if it's of interest, if it's something that they can publish in one of the publications that they normally write for. So have a look, find the contact details of these freelance journalists, search for them by, for example, again, if your topic is about business, for example, search for business freelance journalists in X country, for example, and create this list. Now, after you've got this list, you can send them emails, and the thing is that you have your story, and obviously you have some sort of ideas about what you want to share about it, but the first step is to send each of these people a custom email, a separate email to every person, and to just say, hi, my name is, and then say your name. I saw that you were, for example, the business journalist in this publication, and I think I have quite a good idea for a story. Here is the angle for the story, and please let me know if this might be of interest to you, basically. And send an email. It's not a sales pitch. You're just letting the person know that you're out there. Now, one of 3 or 4 things are going to happen. So the first one is that they will contact you straight away and they will try and get on a call with you. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Now, secondly, what they might do is they might say, hey, your story sounds really interesting, but I'm not really sure if we can use it right now, but I will put you on file. And in that case, sometimes they might actually send you through some interview questions that you will write your answers to, and then that will stay on file. And just make sure that you keep up communication with this journalist for when a certain publication does end up publishing your story. And the third thing that might happen is that they might not respond at all, in which case they've probably put it on file, or it's simply not interesting to them. And the third thing to remember to do is to stay active on your social media accounts, because no doubt once a journalist receives an email from you, they're going to check out your projects, your business, and try and find you on social media to see if there's another angle for the story or something interesting in your life that they can also add to the story. So stay active. And actually, as a small tip, one of the most useful social media networks that I've found for communication with media has actually been Twitter, especially because the news networks, they specifically rely on Twitter to get the best news first. And so if you continually update your Twitter account with some of the latest projects that you're doing, this gives you more of a chance to be picked up by a media outlet, by a journalist. Cool, I hope that was interesting to you guys. Please subscribe, comment below with what publication you wish you could get published in, or what show you wish you could appear on, and I will see you in another video. See you later.